Hello out there in Taxland. Joe DeChara, CPA, coming to you live from downtown Levittown, New York, for another episode of the Enrolled Agent Saga. And yes, indeed, folks, actually an exciting time in accounting, if there could be an exciting time in accounting. So before I get started, what I'd like you to do is give me a hashtag live if you're watching live. Please post your comments in there. If you have any questions for me, I will be looking at the live feed. If you're watching the replay, also give me a hashtag replay, because for two reasons. Number one, it makes me feel good that people are actually engaging with what we're doing here. And number two, if you want to ask a question, if you want to be part of the conversation, me, and whoever else is in the chat will get a notice that somebody asked a question or we answered a question. But anyway, it's a good technology. It's given us a lot of reach, and it gives us a lot of reach with other people that are doing similar things. And there is a whole bunch of people out there, and we're going to talk about this, that are trying to position themselves for what's been transpiring really over decades. But to be honest with you, what COVID was a blessing in disguise that accelerated the whole pace of what's going on. And I'd like to get into that today, so you understand exactly what the opportunity is for you if you're looking to up your game, if you're an accountant and want to increase your hourly rate, if you want to create your own agency, if you're a newbie, if you're just starting out and don't even know anything about accounting. Yes, you could become an enrolled agent as well. Uh, all you need is grit and desire. Okay, that's all it takes. If you have enough tenacity and a the right why, if you know why you want to do this, maybe you want to get some more work balance. You want to take control of your career, take control of your finances. Maybe you want to be rich like me. Not like rich as me. What I mean is, if you want to be rich the way that I did when I was 10 years old and I started my first business. Okay, that was the whole idea. I didn't understand why people had jobs. Now, don't get me wrong. If you want a job, if you want a really good job as an accountant, as a tax preparer, as a professional, as an enrolled agent, then stay tuned, folks, because I got a lot of really good information. But first, we've gone through what an enrolled agent is. It's a higher certification that the IRS gives people. You have to take a 3-part rigorous test. You have to study. Okay, so it's not easy. It's not easy. But there is an easy part to this, and I'm going to get to that. So stay tuned. Where I can assure you, I can guarantee you almost immediate benefits when you make that decision to up your game and jump over, not through, but jump over a lot of the hoops that you have to go through when you start any kind of business, any kind of business. So you could start like most people do, way at the bottom, build yourself up. So let's say, you're somebody with no experience and you want to test the waters, and you want to find out what this freelancing thing is. Okay. And now you're interested. You're like, oh, this might be something I can do. Maybe I don't have to, get in my car and fight traffic every day. I don't have to waste time and money commuting. Okay, I don't have to physically be with like a ball and chain to my office, to my store, wherever you're working. Maybe you decide that and you're like, okay, so how do I do this? Do I jump in? Do I dive off a cliff into the the river and go all in? Or do I take one little step at a time? Either way is fine. Either way is fine. You see, what I've learned is the most important thing is that we're going towards something. 95% of the world drift aimlessly through life, accepting whatever life gives them, not realizing that all it takes is a decision. That's the first step. So if you're one of those people that are wondering, what can I do to improve my life? What can I do to take control? Make a decision. And even if it's not in this field, if it's in another field, okay, for myself, I made that decision a long, long time ago, a long time ago. Okay. And it took me decades of trial and error to get to the point where I could be self sufficient. Not only self sufficient, but I had control of my time, my schedule. I could be the coach for my kids' little league teams. I could be the basketball coach. Why? Because I worked remotely. That's the first key. When you're in a business like accounting, any kind of business, it comes with it, especially accounting at the time, a big geographic boundary. Huge. So in accounting, and you got to remember when I started, there was no internet. A fax machine was like complicated technology. And most of the time, the only way you could do business was by physically going there, physically meeting with the client, getting the data. There was no, Dropbox, Google Drive. So we had to spend a lot of time and effort meeting face to face with clients. Yeah, occasionally you can get a client that would mail their stuff in and you could do it at your leisure, but those were few and far between. That was the exception. But 98% of the time it was all done, within your driving distance, let's say. Okay. Not only that, if you wanted to grow and expand and you needed more people to help you, which every business does, a solopreneur at some point, you reach, you're working 24/7. And if you've tried this already, you know what I mean? It's endless. Once you start a business, your time is gone. The only way you could grow outside of your own limitations is to make that first hire. Okay. So where am I going to get my first hire? Again, I have a geographic limitation. I can only choose from the people that are within driving distance. Oh, and now I got to have an office. Now I got to rent an office so that the people that I hire can come to the office. And believe me, I've done that. Hi, Rana. Hi, all of you that all I see is Facebook Live. I'm here. If you have any questions for me, please post them. I appreciate the interaction. If you're in the Philippines, I know it's really early there. We designed this series like this, believe it or not, because we said, you know what, the people that are actually up on a Saturday morning, they really want this. They really want this. But also, it starts out in the morning. People that are following me, when they get up, they have the whole weekend to tap into the message. Now, also tomorrow morning, I get to interview one of my my first team members, one of my first Philippine hires, Luz. She's our accounting director, and she's got a really inspirational story. So if you're around in 12 hours, it'll be it'll be 8 p.m. 8 a.m. my time, so it'll be 8 p.m. in Manila. 8 a.m. my time, 8 p.m. in Manila. And Luz has a great story, and she could be the poster child for the kind of people that we're trying to connect with. Okay. We showed Luz that it was possible. And now Luz is showing other people that it's possible. It's possible to go from a corporate job to being your own boss. Okay. And when you're a freelancer, you're your own boss. whether you're working for a firm like ours on a full-time basis, okay, or you have your own clients, you have a little side gig, which is another way to start. You could keep your full-time job and test the waters and learn how to do U.S. accounting and taxes, okay, or you could go all in, like other people I've seen, other students, when we started about a year ago with our courses, and we see people getting clients. I mean, it's really amazing. So that's the first picture. So, this is nothing new to me. I've been doing remote accounting for over 20 years. The minute I saw that I didn't have to travel, I could take control of my clients' books, I was all in. Okay, but that's me. I'm an entrepreneur. So let me take you back pre-COVID. Before COVID, the IRS the IRS has been broken since before I started, and that was over 40 years ago. Hard, very difficult agency to deal with. Nothing to do with the people. They are underpaid, overworked. The Internal Revenue Service. So if you don't know, the Internal Revenue Service is sort of like the BIR in the Philippines. So they run, and they're actually the biggest collection agency on the planet. Okay, so you're dealing with a government bureaucracy. They're hard to deal with, and they're huge, and they devote most of their time to collecting the taxes. Yeah, they have to process them, and they have to, do all that stuff, and it takes a lot of people. They have right now they're at about 80,000 employees. Okay, and so they were always hard to deal with. Okay, but you got through. If you called up, eventually you would get through. 10 years ago, you would call and you'd get through right away. So there's an evolution. There's always changing Internal Revenue Service, okay, which makes it hard for a professional really to deal with, because you don't know. It's almost like Batman, where they had that villain Two-Face. You don't know if you get in the good face or the bad face. Okay, so you got to deal with the IRS. And it's difficult. It was always difficult. On top of that, we started out with a shortage of accountants. We started out with a shortage of good tax preparers, and that's been going on for decades. Now, go far, and there's a whole nother reason for that. It just didn't. It became not really great to become an accountant. When I became an accountant, that was the profession. You became an accountant, you became a tax guy, a CPA, you could be a banker, you could be a CFO, you could be a CEO. Okay, it opened all kinds of doors. Well, over time, people stopped being attracted to the accounting profession. It was not a really fun profession to start out in. You had to work long hours. There was a lot of technical experience you needed. And in the beginning, you don't get very low pay. So that took a while to happen. Okay, now let's bring it forward to COVID. Now, COVID destroyed a lot of businesses. It revealed all of the cracks in all of these government agencies. Okay, because yeah, the government agencies, the IRS, they had to deal with COVID just like everyone else. But there's a big difference. See, the IRS has to deal with personal, confidential taxpayer information. You can't just start sending your people home and saying, oh, you're going to work from home now. They have to access sensitive information. They got to be cleared. You can't just, walk in, get a job with the IRS, and right away you're taking phone calls and helping people solve their problems. It doesn't work like that. Okay, so there was, and then what happened during COVID will take decades, if ever, if the IRS will ever be able to catch up with the backlog of millions and millions of returns. What's going to happen is A lot of those cases are going to be swept under the rug. There's going to be deals made. There's going to be, because it's literally impossible. There's just too many paper returns, not enough people that are working there. So this is what happened. The U.S. government said, "Oh, uh, our collection agency is crippled. We better pour some money into it." Okay, so I don't even know what the amount is. I think it's like $800 billion that our government said that they were going to give the biggest collection agency on the planet. Okay, to fix their outdated systems. They don't have one system. Okay, what people don't realize is the IRS's system is made up of about 40 different computer systems that are not linked to each other. So if you're a CPA, an enrolled agent, an attorney, and you've had the pleasure of having to call the IRS for information, you understand that a lot of times they'll say, "Oh, I don't see it on this system," and they got to go over to another system. What they're doing is they're they are hopping around to different systems. So their system is fragmented. It's not centralized. That causes problems for any kind of business. Okay. Personnel. They stopped hiring people years ago, and a lot of people retire. So their workforce is getting smaller. And meanwhile, our government, in all its wisdom, keeps blaming the IRS, and they're like, "We got to cut their funding." So anyway, that's a whole political thing that always goes on, from the beginning of time. So it's always a constant struggle between the IRS, the government, people that have to file and pay taxes, and the people like me and possibly you that have to do this stuff. It's constant turmoil. We throw COVID in there, the whole world stops, everybody starts falling behind, the system collapses, and now they're trying to fix it. So they throw all this money at it, okay? And over the next 5 years, they have a whole, actually, they posted a 10-year plan on how to fix this, which, like everything else they do, is all backwards. And I'll tell you why. Not only are they going to upgrade all of their technology, which is going to make it easier for them to identify tax cheats, it's going to make it easier for them to find them, and it's going to make it easier for them to destroy their lives. So that's what's happening in the background. It's already started. To replace all those people, they're going to hire 87,000 employees. Most of them are going to be revenue agents and revenue officers. Okay? A revenue officer and a revenue agent, a revenue agent is somebody that's going to collect the taxes. After they determine how much you owe, they will try to collect the money. Revenue officers conduct the audits. So there's going to be an entire overhaul of the IRS system. They're going to be hiring a lot more people to enforce the tax code, more audits, more collection action. Okay. Add to that the fact that there's already a shortage of accountants. On top of that, more and more people are going into business in the United States. So the picture is the machine is getting bigger and stronger. The businesses are building us. So people are going into business. They're going into side gigs. All these people that are going to be sucked into the whole tax system, the complicated tax system where somebody with just a simple return can barely do their own tax return. Okay, so there's more businesses, more people will need accountants. There's a dwindling supply of accountants because let's face it, if you're a young kid, if you're going to pick your career, you might be going into something like web design or computer programming or something, or gaming. Okay. What are people going to do? What are all these small businesses going to do? Okay. And now we have this little country of the Philippines on the other side of the world. Now, I wasn't just introduced. I knew the Philippines was there for a long time. I didn't know it was a gold mine of talent, of accounting talent. Okay. And the light bulb went off. Okay. And we started hiring Philippine accountants. We started training them. It helped me triple my business. We're growing. Proof of what I'm saying. Proof of what I'm saying. So we took accountants, bookkeepers and accountants in the Philippines with no prior U.S. tax experience, and we have 7 of them working full-time now. Full-time, that just went through their first tax season. We've done hundreds of tax returns. Okay, so proof that what I'm saying not only is possible, it's happening. Okay, interns that we brought in during tax season. We hired 4 interns for a 3-month stint. They all got full-time positions before the 3 months were up. Okay, all because they made a decision to become freelancers. Okay, all of our people were working full-time at brick and mortar jobs before, all of them. Okay, so now we come to meeting you. You connect with me on the Facebook group. Maybe you connected through accounting people, Marianne LaBonnette. Maybe you connected with us through one of these Facebook groups, LinkedIn. Maybe you found us on YouTube. But we're out there putting this message out there saying, listen, if you want an opportunity, this is actually one of the greatest opportunities in history for people that want to take control of their lives. Okay, because of technology, because of the acceptance of doing business online, which before COVID, there were still people that they didn't go online. They had no reason to. There was no reason to change the way that they did things. People are slow to change. Okay, so now we have your attention. You see this thing going on with all these freelancers, and you're like, you know what? I always wanted to be an accountant, or I am an accountant, and I want more. I want to be with my family. I want to be able to make more money. I want to start my own agency. Okay, so you're looking at this, and then you go into a Facebook group like Accounting Peoples, and you see all of these courses. And Marianne's done a great job, and I commend her for that. She's been helping a lot of people. And you see, you could learn Australian bookkeeping. You could learn Xero. You could learn e-commerce accounting, because there's all different kinds of specialties. You can learn how to do real estate accounting. I mean, it's almost like now you're going into a restaurant and everything's like in another language, but you got a huge menu and you're starving, you want to eat, but you got so many choices. You got so many choices. So what do? You order a glass of water and white rice because you're afraid. Okay, you want what's simple, what you know. Okay, or you say, you know what? Let me test out some of this food. Let me test out this bookkeeping class. Let me test out this tax class. Let me get an idea of what's involved. Okay, maybe you get a side gig. Maybe you get a client. Okay, and you're like, hey, this is pretty good. You know, I have my full-time job, and now I'm learning, Australian bookkeeping or American taxes, and now, oh, lo and behold, you get hired. Why? Because it's like shooting fish in a barrel, folks. It's not hard to get accounting work. It's not hard to get accounting clients. Okay. And again, we are proof of that. We have no shortage of getting new clients. There is no shortage. Okay. We probably turn away about 50% of the clients that come to us because they got to go through an onboarding process. I know what kind of clients are good. My team knows what kind of clients are good, and we don't, because there's such a large uh, pool of people that need our help. We can pick and choose, and that's how we've been able to grow and prosper. And that's what's brought me here to you today. Uh, our first batch, our first 13-week batch of which became a book, best-selling book, The Secret Sauce to U.S. Accounting and Tax Preparation, something like that. You can get it on Amazon. Anyway, the book, before it was a book, it was our course. And in that course, some inquisitive person, and I wish I remembered who it was because they set off a whole chain of events. That person asked us if you had to be a U.S. citizen to become an enrolled agent. Okay. And since nobody ever asked me that before, I had no reason to know the answer. So we did the research, and it turns out you could live anywhere. You don't even have to step foot in the United States ever to become an enrolled agent. Now, there's hoops you got to jump through, like I said, but they're no different than the hoops you got to jump through if you're a U.S. citizen. So the point is that the opportunity is out there for anyone. I think you got to speak English. You got to speak, read, and write in English. Although that might not even be a requirement. I don't know. Maybe I should check it out. But I can only teach in English. Okay. Uh, so now we're presented with this situation. There's so many choices. There's so many opportunities. Now you got to decide, where do I want to start? Well, let me tell you why you should start with the enrolled agent program. Okay. You can acquire knowledge. That's what we do on a daily basis. We acquire knowledge. Okay. And as you're acquiring knowledge, you're upping your game. Okay. Now, how far do you want to up your game? If you want to take a QuickBooks online course, you're going to up your game this much. You want to learn zero, you'll be up here. You want to learn how to do US payroll? Now you get, so every level, every piece of knowledge you acquire, you're raising your, and I can't even say your value, because that comes from, how you feel about yourself. But maybe it raises your level of confidence. That's what I've seen in the 1 year plus that we've been teaching people. Because what really surprised me was the fact that people that were enrolling in our course before it was even done were getting gigs. People that were graduating were getting jobs. And there was one underlying reason. It wasn't because they were any smarter. It may not have been that they even learned anything that was that new. Yeah, I know the tax forms, but the point is that they didn't get positions or jobs or clients or gigs because all of a sudden they had all this newfound knowledge. They got the gigs because they believed it was possible. We showed them how to do these tasks. We showed them what it takes to get a business set up. We showed them what forms have to be used. It's the same procedures that were there when I started over 40 years ago. It's the same thing. So once you start doing it and you get the confidence, you're like, you know what? I think I can do this. That was the factor. That's what got them the job. Not because they were all of a sudden uh, better accountants. Yeah, they may have been better accountants, but it was the feeling. It was, yeah, now I know I can do this. Okay, so now you get to that point. You're like, I know I can do this. Well, what I'm suggesting is you skip over all those other steps. Skip over the zero accounting, skip over the QuickBooks Online, the real estate accounting, and go right into becoming an enrolled agent. Why? Because when you make that decision and you're committed to carrying it out, and that doesn't mean even passing the test. That means you're going to take the first step and continue until you reach that goal, no matter what it takes. You might be looking at a lot of hard work. Not might be, you will be looking at a lot of time, hard work, monetary investment, and that's scary. But what if I told you it could make all the difference immediately? If it takes you 5 years to become an enrolled agent, and it shouldn't, you don't have to wait 5 years to get the benefits. And that's been proven. Okay. Marianne Yan Yan, my friend, put on her profile studying to, and I don't remember, I don't know what exactly the words are, but she put in that she was an enrolled agent trainee, and she mentioned it in prospect calls, and people are pretty much blown away. That's where you get the immediate benefit. See, as an accountant, as somebody that hires people, Bedrock's core values, we look for people that have capacity, people that are learning and want to keep learning, people that want to expand their horizons, people that want to better themselves. Okay. I am more likely to hire somebody that wants to be an enrolled agent than an enrolled agent. Why? If you already made it to be an enrolled agent, you're going to be expensive. You're in demand. You're in demand. So as an accounting firm, if I have two candidates, one of them's going to be an enrolled agent, and the other one is going to be a zero certified professional. Who holds more weight? Who holds more weight? Somebody that knows zero is definitely valuable. Okay, but if I'm doing tax returns, which is that's always the end result is the tax return. I want people that are learning the tax code. I want people that have their heads in the tax code. Okay, now, not, oh, they learned this 5 years ago, they learned it 10 years ago. Okay, like I said, I want people that are just starting out, that are learning this. Okay, because in I can't even say 3 to 5 years is going to be all of this, but there's business now. There's accounting firms that are looking for tax people now, and it's only going to increase. I see, one thing I've seen is, when I started out, I talked about all these cycles, the IRS, the two fish, you don't know which one you're going to get. I see that the the path that the IRS and the state governments have taken with technology. They're always, 20 years behind. Well, that's a thing of the past. They're catching up. Okay, so the time is now. And we do have a question here. Do we offer internships for tax filing? Yeah, filing a tax return is scary if you've never done it before. Actually, it's scary for anyone because you're saying, I hope they get this right. But yes, we do. In fact, right now we have 5 interns. It's a moving target because, like I said, we hired 4 of them. What was it? 3 months ago. None of them lasted. Well, actually, one of them became a full-time employee because one of our team members had to leave. She had an opportunity. She's still a friend of ours. Marikar left, and we made Grace. Grace became a full-time team member, and she was inspired by Luz. Okay, so that's how this is working. We're just starting out, folks. We're just starting out, folks, and this is exciting. Like I said in the beginning, you don't get too many times when you get something exciting happening in accounting. And I've been doing this for over 40 years. And I like to call this the perfect storm of opportunity. It's the perfect storm of opportunity, particularly for our friends in the Philippines. Okay? Make a decision, sign up. Okay, not because we need your money. Okay, we have made this extremely, extremely affordable, almost to the point where it almost costs less than if you want to learn how to become a QuickBooks certified professional, whatever they call it now. Okay, it's extremely. We broke it up into installments. You could find out what it is by going to the site. I just put the link in there. We're going to be teaching one topic at a time. There's 3 topics: individuals, businesses, and IRS practice and procedures. Okay, so that's 3 parts. We spread them all out into 12-week segments. We can't make it any simpler. We can't make it any simpler. So like I said, everything in life starts with a decision. This is a simple one. To me, this is a simple one. If this is, like I said, if you want to take control of your life, if you want financial freedom, if you want to wake up one day and say, you know what, I want to take my kids to Disney World, and I'm taking the day off. Okay, you can make that decision now. Okay, and we will guide you. We will support you. And yes, I see there's a bunch of comments here. So just so you know, I'm in a technology where I don't see names. I just see Facebook users. So when I go back, I will check everybody that's commented here. I appreciate the interaction. Like I said, it makes me feel good. And any questions, you can always email me. Just go to joe@bedrockbusinessbuilders.com. So the last question here, and then I'm going to sign off. The courses, they range, and I'll tell you why. If you go on the site, you can see we give an early bird special. We do installments, and I believe the early bird special is, I think, 3 payments of $97 each. Okay, spread out over the course of the course. Okay, and any other questions, feel free to email me, joe@bedrockbusinessbuilders. I might not answer them directly. What we do is we have we actually have a dean of our courses now. We just hired somebody full-time, or our executive assistant, Corrine, will get back to you. So that's my story. I'm sticking with it, folks. God bless. Over and out. Have a great weekend. And if if you have any clients, I should mention this all the time. Bedrock, we have a really good affiliate program. So if any of you, the last day to file is on Tuesday, April 18th. Okay, so we're still getting clients. We're getting people refer us, people that weren't able to find a tax preparer. So if you have somebody that you want to send to us, please feel free to send them our way. We will take care of them, and we do pay very nice affiliate fees. And I'm just looking, there are a couple of more questions, right, when I want to sign off, but that's okay. Is there a possibility for SEE in the? So I think, okay, so I think if the question is about the test, we are launching a campaign to get the test back in Makati and Manila. I think Makati is a city or part of Manila. The test was there before COVID, and we're going to get it back there. I guarantee you. And the reason why it's not there is because right now there's only 21 Philippine enrolled agents. Okay, only 20. There was never a big call for it, but we're on top of it, folks. So, all right, everybody, that's my story. I'm sticking with it. God bless everyone. And like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Thank you.